Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Therapy. And our guest for today is Ms. Debjani Chatterji. Hi, ma'am. Welcome to our platform. It's great having you. Thank you for coming.
Hello, Rujuta. Thank you so much for having me.
Ma'am, can you just give us a quick introduction so our listeners know who they're listening to?
Yes, so I'm Debjani Chatterji, and I've done my master's in industrial and organizational psychology, and I am a psychometric specialist, which involves psychometric assessments, and I also am a part of the employee assistance programs in multiple organizations, and I run assessment centers. So
Okay,
I have about 6+ years of experience in the field.
okay, all right, ma'am. Okay, that sounds great. Shall we get started with our questions then?
Yes, please.
All right. So our first question is, so this episode is themed at, solving problems in the workplace, right? So our questions are related to
Right,
that, right? Okay. So our
right.
first question is, how do I deal with the challenges that work from home present?
Yeah, so work from home has been a concept in modern organizations for a while now, but it used to be limited to about 2 or 3 days a month, or sometimes even just a 1 day per month policy. Now, with the pandemic, it is, more. It's become a part and parcel of your life. So, how do you maintain your sanity in workplace when you're working from home? It is a difficult question. It is very difficult because the lines get blurred, and it is okay to feel overwhelmed. First, understanding that yes, you are working from home and the people in the organization are expecting more from you. People at home are expecting a lot from you. I think that is a starting point, and when you go forward from there and try to bring a structure in your life as much as possible, try to structure your day, at least try to take breaks in between so that you can feel more at ease, like you would do at work. Probably you don't are not usually glued to your system. And also try to connect with your peers and colleagues as much as possible, even if it is to just catch up and say hello and have probably a virtual coffee with them. Or if you have people at home, try to connect with them and things like that, small things that you would even otherwise do. It is very difficult, easier said than done, but trying is the first step.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So our next question is, how can I ensure clear communication with my superiors? I'm shy and unsure if expressing my ideas.
Okay, so communicating with your superiors can be challenging. The reason being that we do fear judgment. We do fear that, we might come across to be, I don't know, maybe some questions might come across to be not so intelligent and things like that. So communicating ideas or questions becomes a challenge at the workplace. However, it is also about a lot about affiliation. So when we go to organizations to understand where there can be development points for somebody to take up a managerial position, so someday you will become a manager or a superior to somebody. Try to understand it from that perspective. Try to see them as a bridge between the organization and you and employees. I think that will help you set empathy in the entire relationship. You'll understand things from their perspective. And of course, affiliation, trying to bond with them, trying to understand their point, their perspective, etc., trying reaching out to them when you can is, I think, a good step to go ahead. Of course, having said that, it is a two-way street. There needs to be equal effort from your manager and supervisor as well in order to make that an open communication. But there can be many steps you can take in understanding where, meet them where they are and try to see if you can do something for to ease out the communication.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the third question, it says, how do I deal with unhealthy competition from my co-workers?
Yes, so competition is often when you join a company or everybody is in a race, everybody wants to develop, reach ahead faster, climb the ladder sooner. There can be a lot of competition. It can get to you also, in the sense it is definitely going to be something that will bother you. But at the same time, understanding what your goal is, what your strengths and weaknesses are, I think is the first step. Because what can happen is that often in this race, you might forget to utilize your strengths better. In the sense, you might try to become something that probably you might not have much interest in later on in life. I'll just give a very quick example.
Sure, definitely.
Uh, when when I did meet somebody in the workplace, the person had recently joined, and they were obviously wanting to. The natural thing is to want to become a manager, right? I'm
Right.
so sorry for this.
That's
Yeah. So the natural thing is I want to become a manager. I want to manage people and things like that. But this particular person had a very good hold on the subject matter itself. They can become a subject matter expert, but in the race of getting into a managerial position, they completely forgot to play to their strengths. And eventually what happened is their supervisor, who knew that there was potential but couldn't match this particular person's interest to that potential. They had to move the person into another department, and he wasn't a very good performer there. So often this happens, that you have a inclination towards something, an interest towards something, but your strengths are speaking a different language altogether. I think bridging that gap, bringing in awareness and trying to understand where you have your strongest suit is, I think, important.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the last question for the episode, how do you manage friendships with coworkers? Where do you draw the line distinguishing personal and professional relationships?
So this has happened to me. I've often forgotten the lines of personal and professional relationships, and I was in a place where I would want to be friends with my colleagues, and sometimes it does not go the way you expect it to go, and it can bring complications to your workplace. I think what here is important is to understand that uh, a lot of information that is out there about you at your workplace will frame a certain perception about you, in the sense that even if you do not want it to guide how people look at you, it does happen a lot of times that oversharing or over discussing your personal life can become a little hazardous to professional relationships. Now here again, it's not at all, of course, don't get me wrong, it is very good to have friends at workplace. It is very, very healthy to build good relationships. At the same time, there is definitely a life that is needed outside of work. People who are not related to you at work, so that you can go talk to them and build relationships and even a circle for that matter, which is beyond just your work, so that your hopes are not pinned to a certain place or a certain person. So it is possible that they will get blurred, but eventually uh, you will be deciding how much you want to share and how much you do not want to share. In this case, I would definitely suggest, do trust your instincts, do understand and measure what you are talking about. However, it does depend on the personality as well. If you're very trusting as a person, there is a higher chance that you will go ahead and build closer bonds and deeper relationships with your colleagues. And if it works for you, very good. But be careful, be slightly more vigilant, and take your time. Take your time to understand people and then go ahead with it.
Right.
I think that's the key.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for all the information that you've given us. It was a really useful episode. I hope our listeners agree. And I think it'll definitely help them in their professional life. So thank you so much,
I
ma'am.
hope so too. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing.
Thank
It's really nice to see this, and all the best with everything. If you have any follow-up questions, please read. Don't feel. I mean, feel free to reach out.
Definitely. All right, ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hey guys, I hope you really liked today's episode. Please do subscribe to our channel, share it out with your friends, follow our Instagram page, and do send in lots of comments, lots of opinions, and lots of questions. Thank you guys.